What up, you lab rats? This is episode number 74, and today on Motivation Monday, we're talking about overcoming the bystander effect. Stay tuned. Hello, my friends, and welcome to the Lab Rat Daily Show, the in-between show on the main show. Daily now. We've been daily on the Get in the Lab podcast with Kevin and I on Wednesdays, talking about building a business together. Every day here on the Lab Rat Dailies, we have a theme. Today's theme, of course, on Monday is Motivation Monday. All right. And I thought it prudent to talk about this thing called the bystander effect. And this was brought up to me actually several times, but once again brought up to me by the PBS game show. And the host on there is so precise on delivering his content. And I just want to say, bravo, good sir. I really like how you put forth social pressing issues with video games. That's just, I get so addicted to this show, and you guys should check it out. I'll leave it in the description. Because you all know I'm a big gamer, a big lover of games and video games. So, all right. So today's show, we're going to talk about the bystander effect. And what it is that basically psychologists have deemed that even though we see that there's a problem going on, or we feel that, in the goodness of our hearts, that we want to help out somebody who needs help, or even in ourselves, we know that we need to seek help in our own situation. We don't ask the questions, and we don't immediately tend to that person because we feel that somebody else in the community or somebody else will do it, will take care of it. I don't need to do that. Somebody else will take care of it. Somebody will handle it. And that's called the bystander effect. And there's a more succinct definition of that. But basically, guys, how I want to spin it into our kind of context is that in the world of online business and marketing and entrepreneurship, there's a moment where there's like a tipping point or an inertia effect where, you've just been sitting by and consuming content and never liking, never sharing, never activating yourself to leave a comment or to ask a question until there's a moment that you do, until you feel inclined to actually take action. And I think this happens way too often in myself. And I really try to like, comment, share, ask a question if I have that question of somebody else's content. That way, that person who created that content gets, proper feedback and sort of reward for their effort putting out a video or a blog post or whatever that they posted. If I am activated to do so. And that's the kind of thing. It's like, where's the line between just standing by, being a bystander in your life and, not asking questions or not hitting like or not sharing posts, when you in fact really think that this information is valuable, right? I find myself a lot of times I'll read a lot of articles and I want to share this content, but for some reason I don't hit share, or I go, oh, that was a good read, but I'm not activated enough to actually share that article or like that article or leave a thoughtful or encouraging comment. And I think that's just because there's this bystander effect. And even when I do find myself activating to leave comments or to engage with that content creator, sometimes they put up barriers like, oh, you got to log in. And you're like, oh God, please, please do not ask me to log in, because I'll just lose interest right away because our time is so valuable, right? So today on Motivation Monday, the point of all this is I want you to be cognizant of this kind of habit that we have as humans to just be bystanders in our own life and be like, somebody else will ask the question, even though you're curious and you want to know. I want this to be more prevalent and to activate you more as you watch content like mine, or you watch content like anything that can make you, activated and change your life. And the moment that you start asking questions and stop being a bystander is when you actually start seeing traction in your life. So I found that as I start to put more energy in engaging with people who also put out content like I do, I find that, yes, it takes more energy to do that. However, the return is always more than what I expect. Or at least, there's always a return for that. And instead of just never liking, sharing, commenting, giving my 2 cents in a constructive way, contributing back to that content creator and not being a bystander anymore, because Gary Vee calls these people lurkers. You just watch the video and you leave, and you watch every single video, right? You read every single piece of content, but you never leave a like or a comment or answer the question of the day or whatever. And that would just speak to me, because I would do that sometimes and be like, oh yeah, I'm not activating myself. I'm being a bystander in my own life and not engaging with the community and giving back to the community. Content creators put out so much energy just to get that like or that share or that comment or whatever. And so if you truly support the content creators that you follow, you need to hit that like button. You need to share. You need to comment and let that person know. If not, on a regular basis, try to, right? At least have the attitude to not be a bystander. And it always comes back to you and benefits you, because you now put yourself not in the spectator seat, but in the actual game. You join the conversation. You become part of the solution if there's an issue, which, right, we're always creating content that tries and solves issues or problems. So that's just my spiel on that bystander effect, and kind of relating it back into our scheme, in the lab rat world of getting in the lab and creating better content. And I think it's up to us. We can continue to be quote unquote lurkers and bystanders, and just know that when you do that, you're putting yourself not in a position of power, to empower yourself. If you don't ask the question, guys, there's a lot of things that can change about your life if you're not completely satisfied with it. And you want a better life for yourself, it all starts with asking yourself better questions, and not just like, how do I do that? But how is it possible for me to not commute anymore? Is there a way that I can do something that's entirely me, that really expresses me, that touches all the creativity points that I have, and actually make a living at it? Like, you need to ask yourself those types of questions, and ask those questions of other people who have already done it. But if you never ask the question, and you have this fear of, you have the bystander effect, somebody else will ask. Because I don't know, for some reason you have a fear of not putting yourself on blast and asking the question. And you never put yourself in a position to actually change your life. Okay, so enough about that. So I want you guys to ask questions. And as always, my door is always open. I really want to applaud Chris for asking an audio question, a series of audio questions in one of the past episodes. I think it was 72. But that just got me thinking, why does it take, so long for some people who have been following your work or something, and finally they ask a question? There's this tipping point, right? They've been waiting to ask questions, or perhaps they just haven't had the time to frame the question, or a lot of times fear can hold back people. Like, I remember one time I tried to ask Pat Flynn a question, and he invites you to do speak pipe audio questions, right? And you record them. And I was nervous actually trying to record this question while I was vacationing in Tokyo. Of this question I was going to ask Pat Flynn, and I had to write it down and I had to script it. That's how nervous I was. So I understand the fear of like putting yourself out there and saying, yes, I asked that question, and you're kind of putting yourself on blast and things like that. But if I didn't ask that question, I wouldn't have gotten over those little hurdles that I had that kept me from asking it before. So the point is to ask questions and to be okay with it. Like, it's okay. It's okay to ask questions. I don't know what this macho thing is of not asking for directions and not asking questions. When you ask questions, you give back to the community, you contribute, and the content creators always appreciate it. All right. So that is for today's Motivation Monday episode. I hope that I activated you to ask questions. And tomorrow, I'm going to give some tips on Tip Tuesday on how to ask better questions. Because you can ask questions all day long, right? But if you ask better questions, you'll get better answers. So look for that tomorrow in tomorrow's episode. A couple things, guys. It's coming up this Saturday. I'm going to be speaking at a live event called Podcast San Diego. I'm going to be joining a number of other successful podcasters, beginner and established, talking about adding video to your podcast lineup, scheme, whatever. I'm going to be talking about video podcasting. I'm pretty pumped. I keep kind of, rehearsing the content, and I've been quite nervous up until now, and I think the best way for me that has been working, is to think of it as just another podcast. It's about 20 minutes long. I'll be speaking at 2:30. You can find all of the details of where to go if you want to join me and support me and kind of meet other podcasters in that space. That'll be in the link in the description. Also, weekend after that, I will be joining Amy Schmidauer for her live event in San Diego as well, called SSS Live, so Savvy Sexy Social Live. And she's teaching you all about vlogging and vlogging for business. And if you're really serious about doing video as a means of marketing your work online, then I would highly recommend this event if you live in California or if you live in San Diego for that fact. So good things, guys. A lot of things are happening. I'm very excited. As always, I appreciate you hanging out with me. If you like this video and you have felt the kind of bystander effect yourself, and you felt almost maybe guilty for not leaving a like or a comment or something like that, then you know what I'm talking about. Like this video if you did. And subscribe to the channel to become a lab rat today. And as always, my name is Megan, reminding you to get in the lab. We'll see you next time here. I think I was supposed to say peace out. Peace out.